In this video, we're going to talk about buyer closing costs. So as a home buyer, you're going to have some costs you're responsible for and you need to prepare for ahead of time before you get ready to purchase a home. So saving some extra money aside to make sure you can cover these different costs. So the first one to consider is going to be the earnest money. This is earnest money that you're putting down in good faith on the contract when you get it under contract with a seller. So earnest money basically just says that you're going to go ahead and proceed and do everything that the contract says, and you're going to actually purchase the home. If you don't purchase the home, if you back out of the contract and you do it in a way that's not legal, you could forfeit your earnest money to the seller. But in most cases, buyers, transactions, everything goes smoothly. In the event that something pops up, like you don't want to buy the house anymore because of something you found during inspections, you can usually use the inspection clause in a contract to help you get out of that contract legally and you get your earnest money back. So earnest money is more of something that you got to worry about if you do something like you just change your mind and there's no real true reason why you want to leave this contract. That's more of a case where you could lose your interest money. You got to have a valid reason for getting out of the contract if you decide not to buy the home. In addition to earnest money, you want to set aside some money for the down payment on the home. So if the bank's requiring a minimum 3.5% down or 5% down or 10% down, you want to make sure you have this money saved up so that you can afford the down payment. And then we want to talk about closing costs. These are going to be the costs that are associated to the buyer for buying the property. One's going to be your lender costs. So when you're working with a lender, getting a loan through the bank, they're going to charge you different lender fees, application fees. You're going to have an appraisal fee you got to pay to the appraisal company that goes out and make sure the home appraises for the loan that they're giving you. So these fees, consider all part of lender fees as one kind of group of costs. Then the actual title company costs as well that the title company is going to charge you. This would be like the closing fee for hosting the closing at their office. This would also be the title search that they do on behalf of the lender to make sure the title's clear so that nobody else comes and tries to say they have claim to the property, and then the lender might lose out on their loan money if you lose the property to someone else who has a claim to it. So the lender is going to require title insurance, so this is another fee that's going to get paid to the title company. In addition to lender fees and title company fees, you also will have an inspection fee if you choose to do inspections. Property inspections will help reveal anything wrong with the property, and you can usually get your money back that you paid for the property inspection in the form of seller credits towards different repairs. So what that means is, let's just say you have a property inspection done and the property inspector charges you $500 to do the inspection. Don't look at it like you're out $500. Look at it like, hey, I just saved myself thousands of dollars, because if the property inspector finds something wrong with the furnace, something wrong with the water heater, something wrong with the roof, you can negotiate this in the contract with the seller and get credits towards these repairs. And that's going to save you thousands of dollars that you didn't have to come out of your own pocket. You're using the seller's money to fix these things. And that was all thanks to the inspector finding it. Otherwise, you might not have known about it. So it pays to hire an inspector. Even though they cost some money, they will probably save you money in the long run due to what they find on the home. You can then negotiate and get that stuff kind of repaired or credited in the form of a statement closing cost credit from the seller, so that you can make sure you're taking care of those items and not having to come out of pocket yourself for them. Then you're also going to have property insurance. So a lot of times the property insurance company is going to want you to pay a full year's premium up front. And then they're also usually going to charge you on the closing statement. The title company is going to charge you some escrow amounts for property taxes and for property insurance, so that the bank can get an account set up that's already got some money in it for property taxes and property insurance ahead of time. That way they can pull from that account as they need to over time to pay off your taxes, your insurance for you. Because when you go through a lender, they typically have you pay them a mortgage payment. That mortgage payment includes the principal and interest for the loan, and it also includes your property taxes and insurance in most cases. So the lender is going to be the one that actually pays that tax and that insurance for you on your behalf, using the money that they're setting aside in this escrow account. So they're going to need to escrow in a couple months worth of the payments ahead of time, just so they can kind of get it started and have a cash buffer there to draw from, so they don't overdraw the account down the road by mistake. take. All right, so all that's pretty simple. I think you've got it. That's all we need to cover in this video. Those are the buyer closing costs. Just kidding. If that's confusing, rewatch the video. It'll help you get more clear on what your costs are. But basically just try to keep it in groups. You got lender costs, you've got title company costs, you've got the escrowed amounts that you got to escrow in for your taxes and your insurance. You also have your property insurance premium that you're going to have to pay to the insurance company that's going to be good for a full 12-month period. And then you've also got earnest money and the down payment that you need to set aside some funds for as well. And then any additional monies that you need to come up with, like the inspection, if you're going to do an inspection, money that you're going to need to cover any sort of initial repairs on the property once you move in. Maybe there's some things you want to take care of right away. This could also be useful to set aside some money and budget for.